Greetings, everyone. This is Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul Magazine, aka SGIB Magazine. It stands for Soldiers Got Intentions. Believe that, because everyone should be soldiering for something: a dream, a goal, an idea, a train of thought, something. And owner of PBG's production, it stands for Photos by Gerard, the best at freelance publicity photography. Well, I figured today I'd show myself in the best light. Although you don't have to fall into the pool, it's a little bit of something. You know, my oldest just had a birthday, and I think I want to talk about children, raising them, how important they are, and how easy they can be misguided and convinced and not actually wanting the truth. Remember, there's three sides to a story. There's your side, my side, and then there's the truth. When I was with the mother, the reason I'm hesitating, because I don't need to go as far as back to where's that. I have before, and it'll probably be in the book that I'm writing. It will be, but I don't feel like going back to that part. Although I should, because it very much shaped, you know, how I was viewed in her eyes, that she passed on to my oldest eyes, and how it remained. I had a photography studio in San Francisco on Haight and Fillmore. You know, when I was moving out of San Jose, and I found this apartment building, and there was a guy in this apartment building, and he was renting out the rooms in the next apartment building. So right off the top, the way he moved, I knew he wasn't taking care of business. So what happened was that I ended up taking over the apartment building that had the terrace. The big room had the terrace, where I used to eat breakfast every morning. I think that's why I got the habit of having breakfast every morning on the terrace, because at Haight Fillmore, that's what I always did. Had breakfast on the terrace, and it was nice. You know, it was very nice. It got me in trouble in Las Vegas, because a lot of people don't want to see a brother living like that. You know? Especially when he got a little dog on the table eating steak with him. You know what I'm saying? It makes for a lot of jealousy, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I had a studio there, and there was one photographer who was from Italy. See, I had this illusion in my mind that I was following my idol, Francesco Scavullo. Francesco Scavullo was the cover photographer for Cosmo-politan magazine, and I wanted to be just like him. You know, his work was outstanding. You know, I figured he was from Europe somewhere. I did get a chance to come across him when he was working on a project in Central Park with Crystal Gale. It was Crystal Gale's first special, and Francesco Scavullo's first motion picture project. You know, so it was a first for the both of them. And Way Bandy, who often did the makeup for Cosmo-politan magazine, and Francesco's makeup artist, was also there. I can't remember the hairdresser's name, but you know, I remember I was taking pictures of it, and then after over I said, "Mr. Scavullo, can I take a picture of you?" And he said yes. So he grabbed me by the arm, and he turned me around like this. 360-degree turns. I still do this to this day when I'm photographing someone. Someone they don't understand what I'm doing, but what he was doing was that he was looking at the lighting on the subject, because lighting can make or break a picture. So he was looking at the lighting on me to determine how the lighting would be on him. And so He says, okay now. So I took a picture. He did something like, like this, with his boots on. That's why I wear boots to this day. Francesco, like this. And it was a nice shot. I took it to a studio, and he said, oh, I love it. So he took it and he pinned it right on the board of his studio. I was like, wow. I was like, man, Francesco loved my work. And so I asked if I could do some assistant work for him. I said, he doesn't have to pay me. And he says, yeah. So I come around the studio a couple of times and got in the way. But at least I can say I did some assistant for Francesco Scavullo. I did assistant work once for this one photographer. His name was Jeremiah Beam. Jeremiah Beam, as a matter of fact, he photographed a lot of the classic soul groups. In fact, he had gold records on his wall, or albums on his wall that he did the album covers for. And Jeremiah Beam, I was doing the black and white. That's why I was a black and white lab technician. Jeremiah Beam was getting paid $600 an hour plus expenses. Now I want that to resonate in your mind. This is like back in like 79, 78, 79. I got out of photography. I got out of service in 76. I got a photography 77, 78, 79, around that time. And so I ended up doing assistant work for him. Now we waited 3 hours for a special comforter. You hear me? A special comforter to fly in from Los Angeles that was specially designed to lay on this mattress for the model to lay in. 3 hours. And so it finally came. Now my job was, because I had the eye, making sure the wrinkle was out of the way of her dress, her nightgown, negligee she was wearing like this, smooth out the thing, I'm doing my job. I'm very articulate. You know what I'm saying? I'm very down to the minute detail. I watch for, because I learned that in photography, is that once you have your subject is going to remain your subject. When you look through the viewfinder, you're not looking at your subject no more. You're looking at what's popping out of their head, what's on the side, what do they have in their hand. You're looking at other things that might take away from the shot. So I was very good at that. So anyway, so the other assistant, he was shooting Hasselblad, 2 1/4, 2 1/4. And he was changing he was on a big ladder, and he hand him the back, and he would hand him up the back and chuck. And he was bracketing. Bracketing is when you take pictures and you shoot 1 f-stop over, 1 f-stop under, 2 f-stop over, 2 f-stop under. In other words, you would pretty much guarantee that you were going to get the shot, at least exposure-wise. So I'm processing the film, and I'm looking at it like, wow. The other assistant brings back the color transparency. They're shooting at transparencies. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome away. And when I saw this stuff, it was like, oh my God, this is garbage. He's getting $600 a day and shooting like this. I said, I can do that. I said, I can do that. But one thing he had that I didn't have, that I learned later in life that you need is a representative. He had an awesome representative that took his work around and sold him for $600 a day plus expenses. My color instructor name was Rick Young. Rick was a color instructor, and we got along pretty good. And I was at his house with his girlfriend Sean, and the phone rang, and Sean answered the phone. Hello, Rick Young Studios. And Rick was like sitting there, and she was saying, yes, he's not here at the time. This is concerning then what days will be available. And Rick was sitting there giving us signals. you know, price-wise and all that stuff like that. And after it was over with, she hung up. I said, aha. See, that's who you need in your corner. You know, someone who supports you, you know, who will ride or die for you, you know, who can represent you to the ultimate fullest to make sure that you get your value worth. Because often the time, we don't know our own personal values. At least I don't. I never have. I still don't know. All I know is that, you know, how much you have, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because as minorities, we often do things not based upon our own personal worth. We do things based upon getting the job. And often the time, it's half of what a white person would be getting, or a third of what a white person gets. You know, and it's unfortunate, but knowing your value is very important. You know, like me, you know, I got over $1 million in shots that I took of people over the years. You know, events and things of that nature who people want pictures, but I was too busy going on to the next assignment. If there was somebody who behind me, because I would get the information, I got the notes, I got the numbers, I got this, who wanted pictures. If someone just walked behind me and just contacted and said, the pictures are done, how many copies you want? And send them out and get that money. I mean, you know, baby, please, I'll be doing all right. But unfortunately, you know, I didn't. So anyway, how much time? Because I said I don't want to do this over 15 minutes. I can't see it. Anyway, I had a studio in San Francisco. Before I tell you about the girls, Tina Turner was just coming out of her contract with a convention. She had a contract of sort that she had to appear for 5 years to perform. And this was one of the reasons why Tina was locked down for those many years, or how many years, because she didn't have the mobility to be able to do what she wanted to do or sign whoever it was she wanted to sign. But once she was able to, she did this concert in Santa Cruz, California. It was like her coming out thing. Everything reminds me of something else. I remember I had a Triumph Spitfire, 2-seater. I'd go to Santa Cruz and just turn off the engine and just coast down those hills. It was beautiful. When she came out, I went and I photographed her, and I was right there at the stage. And it was amazing seeing her, and the two girls, how exhausted they were keeping up with Tina. So Tina ended up performing at the Fillmore, and I was able to have access. Kenny, who was the keyboard player, had invited me up in his room. I mean, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, I probably could have been rich with AIDS or whatever, if I didn't turn down all the, men chasing me, or if I was able to, if I didn't think the girls, the superstar girls who I'm with, wouldn't think after we done, boy, this was a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? I would have been with them. For instance, I don't know. I'll get to my daughter one day. I was me and Cheryl. Cheryl was my first wife. Beautiful girl. I talked about her too one day. And her and I, she wanted to go see Shaka Khan. So I said, okay. Yeah, I said I'll go to Shaka Khan. So I got the tickets. She was playing at Lincoln Center in Manhattan. So, I'm waiting on Cheryl. I don't know what it is about women, but they're late. Always late. I'm saying, yeah, always late. So I'm waiting on the corner, like this, waiting on her. And I see this woman coming down. She's crossing the street. It's only like 72nd, somewhere on Broadway, somewhere around there. And this guy walking behind her, and he has a guitar. It's obvious he has a guitar of some sort, whether it be bass or lead, or whatever. So as she's walking toward me, she's looking at me. And so she stopped in front of me and she said, "Are you going to the concert?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Would you like to go with me?" I said, "No, not really." I said, "I'm waiting on a girlfriend to come. You know how that is." She said, "Okay." And she left. Cheryl came. When we went to the concert, guess who it was who was on stage? That girl, Chaka Khan. I said, "Oh my God." I was like blown away. I said, "Oh no." I told Cheryl, "Come on, let's go." She said, "Why are we leaving?" I said, "Let's go." I didn't want to see no more of the concert. Because Cheryl, you know, because, you know, I turned down Chaka Khan, not knowing Chaka Khan. You know, so anyway, so Kenny Moore was one of those, he was gay. And when I got to his room, he was like an octopus. I said, no, man, I don't go that way. I don't go that way. And it was funny because I was photographing Sylvester. You know, too hot to sleep. My body's I'm tossing and turning, too hot to sleep. And he also performed with two girls called Tons of Fun. So he was performing in San Francisco because my studio's in San Francisco. I had decided that San Francisco was either you're gay or your business, you know. So Sylvester was performing, so I went and photographed him. And he invited me back to his house because I told him he gave me his number, sell the pictures, because that was my thing. I was selling pictures. And so when I got to his house, he bought the pictures. And about for the next half hour, it was like running around the couch. I mean, literally, no, Sylvester. no, I gotta go. No, I can't do it. No. Ah! It was so funny because I'm being chased around by Sylvester. I'll tell you another one. I used to hang out on 42nd Street before it turned into Disney Street, you know. And when I got out of prison, as a matter of fact, in '99, it had made the conversion, not entirely, but some parts of it was still a red light district. And I would take Polaroids, you know, Polaroids, guys, girls, tourists, whatever. And every night while I was there, Paul Mooney, who you know Paul Mooney is the writer, the comedian. You know, he wrote for Richard Pryor and a number of things. He actually broke the ceiling and still breaking it when it comes to black comics. So he was always, "Are you ready? You ready?" Chasing me. No, Paul, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. "Oh, yes you are. Yes you are." So, you know, it was just funny that you know, I was with one more story. I keep saying one more story. Bonnie has sent me to this personal party to cover. It was up around by the Hollywood sign, and there were like 4 people there. Mind you, I don't know who people are. I really don't, you know. If you're not someone like George Jefferson or Sanford & Son, you know, or if you're not an artist, you know, who I personally admire that much, where I could recognize you when you weren't in your group, you know. So anyway, it was this group, and it was about videos, because this was the time when videos was just coming out, and there were a slew of people who were making videos, who were trying to get, you know, jobs doing videos. This one girl, she had just, I don't know if it was Duran Duran or something, and she said, "Come here, I'll show you." So she was showing me the video. Wait, before I get there, so it was this long-haired brother who was there, a couple of people were there, and you know, the girl asked me if I wanted to stay, so I said, yeah, I'll stay. So we watched a few of her videos that she worked on, and you know, we did what you did, and like, "Is that it?" I'm afraid so. Okay. I got gotta go. Yeah, I think you should. So I just think that of all the wonderful opportunities I could have had and been with, if I didn't break the stereotype of black men. This is Gerard Aaron, Chief of Filipino Soul. Remember, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elderly and always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one to see your vision. But just think, if I didn't, I might be dead or with AIDS. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise for me. If you haven't got a dream, a goal, an idea, don't worry about it. Do what I do. Get as much as you can, as fast as you can, and go home. And remember, I'll always love you more. And if you're lucky enough to have a good woman, like Ali Woodson once said, treat her like a lady. Do that. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man like me, treat him like a king. I'll talk to him. Oh, I want to say last night the girls from Dynasty and two of the guys, let me mention their names because I want to make sure I give them some shout out from love. Jen, Angelina, Ellie, Burley, and Edna. I was like Edna, Aiko, Ane, Shakawambina, Anane, Shakawambina, Dennis and Mark were there. They came and it was like a housewarming party. They came and cooked and it was wonderful. And then they danced. See, that's why I ask people, what's your claim to fame? Because everybody has a claim to fame who's doing a job that you wouldn't think it would be something they would do the rest of their lives. All right, I'll talk to you later. I know I'm over my 15 minutes.